This video is brought to you by my generous backers over on Patreon. If you'd like to support the channel and get cool perks like access to the Discord, seeing the videos a week before anyone else, or exclusive Patreon only gameplays, then feel free to check out my Patreon. The link's in the description below. Haktos the Unscarred versus Ruric Thar the Unbowed. With not an incredible opening hand, but we've got Generous Gift at least. I don't know if they're likely to ramp into their commander with a Mana Vault or something like that. I'm actually going to try and mulligan that one. Okay, and we get into... Oh, is that better or not? Well, I'm going to keep it. We've got 1, 2, 3 and 4 mana. If we get into another red, that's Lavisa. We can go for Glorious Anthem on turn 2. So let's get rid of Iroas. No, I'll get rid of Urabrask because we've got haste on Lavisa. And I don't know if the menace is going to matter against like 2 mana, 3 mana dorks like Wood Elves and Southern Caryatid, things like that. Anyway, we'll go Ancient Tomb into the Talisman. And there is a dork from our opponent, the Elvish Mystic. We want a red land off the top, really. In fact, we'll need... yeah, another couple of coloured sources. Blasphemous Act isn't awful. We might have to take damage from the Ruric Thar, though, to cast that. And we're going to be taking damage from our mana as well. We go down to 25 already, get down the Glorious Anthem and pass. Yeah, if we get into a red mana, we can at least go in for Lavisa, ready for our commander. Okay, there's an Anger. Do we play Anger just to chump? Yeah, I think that's okay. And then we don't necessarily need to get Lavisa out for the haste. And that is buffed to a 3-3, so that'll actually keep them off swinging in. I don't know if they were going to swing in with these anyway. They might hit us for 2 with this and go for a Cultivate with these 3. And now in for Lifecrafter's Bestiary. They're still only at 4 mana, luckily. Austere Command, just drawing into everything we don't want. So we'll have to go Iroas and continue to help our opponent defeat us. Keep taking a lot of damage to our mana. Now our commander has haste as well. We don't care about our opponent's life total. It's commander damage that we want to push through. Although it's noteworthy that Iroas will be animated once we get our commander down. Now going in for Reclamation Sage. See if they go after the Talisman. They draw a card off of casting the Reclamation Sage. And they do go after our red mana, so we are a million miles away now. And that's a shame. We would have gotten into our Lavisa if it wasn't for that. I think I'll wait until their commander comes down, or can we even afford the Blasphemous Act? It's 5 mana. Yeah, we would have been able to, had that Talisman have stayed out. Yeah, they might be able to get their commander down if they drop an Ancient Tomb or a land and a Soul Ring, something like that. We'll just continue to hold this anger back. We might be able to push them back even further than we are if we go for the Blasphemous Act here. They've got an advantage over us with a scry every turn. Now a Vexing Shusher. Yeah, we don't care about Vexing Shusher, although that is a means of drawing a card for them. We'll see if they drop a land here. Fingers crossed they don't. That does allow us to afford Blasphemous Act though. Okay, they get into Temple of Abandon. Yet another scry. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is 4 mana into Blasphemous Act. Okay, and there's a City of Brass as well. So we can go for Blasphemous Act now and keep our fingers crossed that we get into another coloured source next turn for our commander. Failing that, we can just go in for Lavisa. So let's go like that. We'll put our anger in the bin. And now, as far as I can tell, they are forever and a day away from their Ruric Thar. With these scries, it might get them closer towards the ramp that they need, but I'm hoping that they're really reliant on mana dorks in a creature-based deck. They drop a land anyway. Yeah, it just looks like it's a deck based around playing against blue players. There we go, Rugged Prairie, excellent. Can we outrace them? Probably not, unless we get into some kind of double strike. Well, we can try. So our commander is going to come down. And, oh, that animates Iroas as well. Oh, well, that changes things then. What did we roll? We rolled a 3. And they haven't shown us any... Oh, they've shown us Reclamation Sage. I don't know how many 3 CMC creatures they have. I dare say they have things like... Yeah, I was going to say, I imagine they've got things like Wood Elves and... What is the other one called? There's another Wood Elves effect that brings in a basic tapped. But yeah, scoop in there. Let's see what we would have drawn into. Yeah, Gilded Lotus wouldn't do it. We would go in for our Lavisa next turn. And then we would have hit them for 7, 8, 9 damage, taking them up to 16 commander. And then the turn after that, yeah, it's just another haste enabler, so weren't getting into our lords and anthems there, which we really need to push through a fast victory, but pulled it back from the brink. That was looking really sketchy for us, but Blasphemous Act got us back into it. So that's why you don't scoop early when you think you've got the loss. Now then, obviously that wasn't a full game, so let's get another one going, this time up against the very powerful Animar, Soul of Elements. And it has protection from white as well, so if we roll a 3, this will be able to block our commander all day long. So we just have to keep our fingers crossed on that front. Let's mulligan that because we want coloured mana. Oh dear, it's not our day today, is it? Okay, that's much better. Let's keep there. And we can get rid of... What can we get rid of? 2 cards. It'll just have to be Vandal Blast and Brave the Sands, I think. Then let's go in for a tap land with the Flooded Strand. And as usual in this deck, it's just a case of hoping that we can outrace our opponent. Luckily for us, they're going for a tap land as well, so no incredibly fast start from Animar. Goblin War Drums is Menace. That is actually useful if they only have one 3 CMC creature out in their commander, and they can block with 3 converted mana cost creatures, then that Goblin War Drums will come in handy. Does rely on the fact that they don't get into a Reclamation Sage or something like that though. And going plains because we can go Grand Abolisher. I don't know if my opponent's running counter magic or not, but that will help us out on that front. So fingers crossed for another coloured land at this point. And there we go, it is a plain, so we'll go Goblin War Drums. We know our opponent can't counter. I am not going to risk. Actually, we can risk going in with Grand Abolisher, even if they get a flash creature down. We've got Menace anyway, so they can't block with that one creature. Otherwise, I wouldn't have risked the attack there. And no doubt, Animar comes in on turn 3. And there it is. So currently our plan, and I was going to say if we get into a land, our plan is Commander into Berserker's Onslaught next turn. Still keeping my fingers crossed that our opponent doesn't get into a 3 CMC creature, but we roll 2 anyway. If Modo would show us, yeah, rolled a 2, so we'll swing in with the Grand Abolisher. They can't block with 1 creature. So just a case of hoping that they don't spam a bunch of 2 CMC creatures into play. Although we are slightly better protected when we've got First Strike off of Berserker's Onslaught as well. Garrick throwing out a beast doesn't do anything, although untapping some lands might do something. They're going for Simic Ascendancy. Okay, we've got a buff on our creatures. And we've got Menace as well. We could go in at Garruk, actually. Yeah, let's go Berserker's Onslaught, because that means that Grand Abolisher can take out Garruk. That goes in at our opponent, they can't block it. And that goes in at Garruk, they can't block that either. And Goblin War Drum's doing some good work for us here. If it wasn't for that, the Grand Abolisher wouldn't have been able to swing in there. Animar can block white creatures all day long. They need to do something about either our creatures or the Berserker's Onslaught here, because we're swinging in for lethal next turn. Okay, Prophet of Kruphix, they can't block with that. They might be able to throw a couple of 2 CMC creatures in the way though, leaving Animar back. Okay, Thrill of Possibility. I might actually discard that Goblin Oriflame. I assume it's Oriflame. Oriflamme. Anyway. Not giving my opponent any information, let's just try and swing in. They might have a Cyclonic Rift or something like that. But as it stands now, they can't block with any creatures. Not worried about them throwing a couple of 2 CMC creatures out either, because we have First Strike. Or we'll deal First Strike damage to them with our Double Strike. And our opponent, I don't know if they realise what our commander does. They paused a little bit there. I think they were trying to block, realised they couldn't, and decided to scoop it up. So there we are, a pretty convincing win there. We ripped into some lands off the top, which was lucky, but the Goblin War Drums really helped us out. It kept Garruk out of the game, which is really good when you've got a Nykthos Shrine to Nyx. They've got Devotion to Simic of, well, it's only single colours they care about, so Simic is 1, 2, and 3 in both green and blue. So another spell of those colours would have netted them some nice mana with Nykthos and the Garruk in play. But thanks to Goblin War Drums, they couldn't keep it. And then obviously, as usual, the double strike / double damage helped us push through a victory really quickly. Hope you all enjoyed these games. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.